Good evening, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope your day has been really good, and if you have a special someone in your life, I hope you're making it even that much better. As we know, I'm always looking to get my things shared, so I'm sharing that, of course, at this moment. I can see I have a little glare going on here, which is not something I want, so I'm going to go ahead and find out where my glare is coming in. I think it's from behind me, or is it from there? Let's see, is it? No, it's actually coming off of here. I may want to turn on the overhead light. I'll do that here in a second. All right, so I'm getting ready to get this ready here so I can share. Now, what are we talking about today? It's called loving yourself first. Loving yourself is always so hard. Knowing who you are, forgiving yourself, moving everything about yourself. I mean, there's just so much. So much. And I want to see each of you become healthy, especially on days like this. So as you can see, it says loving yourself first. I'm really struggling here trying to share this. I think my phone is freezing up. I'm going to go ahead and do a reset on this. While this is restarting, let me go ahead and take this off. I don't need this on while I'm doing the thing. But I'm going to turn on this overhead light. Maybe that'll help with my glare. So bear with me a second. Let's see, is it? Maybe just a little, huh? Not as much as I was really hoping for. Anyways, so we have a lot we're going to go over today. And I know that you'll be visiting with me here in a second as soon as I'm able to share this. And so that you know we're in. But for all those that are taken and in a relationship and you're happy, don't forget that Valentine's Day is a wonderful day to share that with your special someone. But Valentine's Day is not, hey, Valentine's Day is not meant for just Valentine's Day. That's enough. Valentine's Day is about partners, loving your partner, being part of your partner, sharing your life with your partner, being in the moment with your partner. And to do that, you have to be mindful at all times. So, and loving your partner, but loving yourself as well. So give me a second here because I'm almost to the point where I'm logging back on. If you're viewing with me, please share. That's how people learn about Healing Hands, and they get the help they need. Remember, I've started a YouTube channel, and I have a blog, and we got some exciting stuff coming up this year, even some more exciting stuff, and wait till you see what we got coming on. It's going to be really neat, and you're going to love it. I promise you. Anyways, to this point now. Oh, here we go. So it's going to let me share. So, and I'm sharing my own, of course. So bear with me 1 second. And I'm going to come join in. Say, come join in. Come join in. All right. We'll just make it that easy, right? Just come join in. And let me turn the volume down on this because I can't always see your comments, and that's a problem on the computer itself. Hey, Pam. So what I do so that I can see your comments as they're coming in is I have my phone, or I usually have a little tablet up right here. and it helps me to see what you're saying. Makes life a lot easier. So, and which is a big thing considering, right? And here we go. So, all right. So let's go ahead and get started here, huh? And again, happy Valentine's Day. Now, what's the first thing about being in a relationship with somebody? Oh, political issues in Texas. This is the call I'm getting. Yeah, we're just going to ignore that, okay? All right. Here, for all those that are single and are asking yourself today, why am I single? I mean, why am I not finding the right person? Why have I been single all this time? Or why are my relationships kind of that I've had up and down? Well, there's a lot that goes on, and within ourselves mainly. And it's called loving ourselves. That's a big thing. And it's not just loving ourselves, it's loving ourselves within. And there's a whole technique to that, which we're going to go over today. Okay? So you have to truly love yourself if you're going to love others and have a healthy relationship. So this time next year, I want to hear all these successful stories of wonderful new love and healthy relationships, all because of today's session. Okay? Or maybe a combination of the entire year session. All right. So I just want you to know there's like this cliche that's saying you have to love yourself first before you can deeply love other people, be it your spouse, family, or friends, assuming that we know different kinds of love. It's a lovely saying for sure, right? Let's try to analyze this and find answers as to why it's so important to love yourself first from a very practical point of view. Okay, so the easiest first step we can take is a good starting point to where we get at within ourselves. The easiest step to do is being part of ourselves, part of our character, part of our situations, knowing ourselves. So playing a part within ourselves, very, very, very important. You see something about yourself in a very negative aspect all the time, I'm sure. We always do. We're our own worst critics. I mean, we're the first ones to walk in our house and say, oh my goodness, look at this place. Or I need to learn how to be a better housekeeper. Maybe I need to learn how to dress better. Maybe I need to learn how to fix my hair better. Or I need to lose some weight. Okay? Those are just really wants, like most of it, because we can change our false images of ourselves in any situation, because it's a cognitive distortion that we have of ourselves. So because it's cognitive, which means it's within our mental reasoning. Hey, come here. Come on. Because it is a cognitive situation, we can change that way of thinking. Okay? So let's get rid of these shortcomings. Let's learn how to find peace within us to love us so that we can truly love other people. It's kind of like when you interact with other people that you love, there's 3 options exist. The first one is they have things you don't like about yourself. They may have things that they don't like. Things that you see within yourself, maybe that you're assuming they don't like about you. For example, someone has a lot of money and you're poor. You're thinking they're looking at you as a less of a person because you don't have what they have. That's not always the case. That's your lower self-image talking. That's not reality. The second one is they lack the same thing as you. So maybe you're both poor. And the third is that they're in the process of acquiring the things that you want. It's more money or a better body, personality traits, or whatever. Okay? You're distorting your own reality based off of what other people have. So we want to stop doing that. If your partner is terminally ill, I don't think that has a lot to do with not having a healthy relationship. It would have more to do with what's going on with your partner, them being terminally ill. Are you being present within that relationship with them? Are you there by their side? Are you supporting your partner? If you were in the same situation and you were terminally ill, how would you want your partner to present themselves in that relationship? So that's some things that you'll have to ask yourself without me getting more information from you on that. And if you want, you can always send me a message and use the PM part in Healing Hands, and we can kind of talk about that separately. Okay? Some people lack things, and the biggest thing they lack has nothing to do with what they don't have. It has to do with what they think they should have. And so then that's where the berating comes in, and it's a negative thing that we do to ourselves. And we want to get out of that habit because we have to learn how to love ourselves within who we are and not who we think people think we should be or what we think we should be, because we have a negative self-image of ourselves. But once you truly learn to love yourself for all of your faults and everything within you, like, okay, here's a good thing. It says goddess, right? I'm no goddess. Yeah. I mean, but hey, maybe someone thinks I am, you mean, you never know, but I don't see myself as one, but the shirt sure is cute, isn't it? And it's that funny little stuff that you can kind of just joke around about too and find humor instead of being so serious all the time. Hey, Carol. All right. Now I'm going to kind of get real here when I was saying a few things. Okay. We get confused, and either the angle of our person becomes an eye-opening for us, and we start loving other people better than we love ourselves. That's not a good thing. When you hate something about yourself and you encounter a person you love that has the same shortcomings, what do we say? You're probably a bitch. You whine. You complain together, which is far from loving and caring relationship, because it's like that old saying, misery likes company, right? That's not always a good thing. Now, if they don't hate the same things about themselves as you do, there's usually a friction of a value within that relationship. One person will decrease, one person increases. You have to recognize that. And if you find yourself in a relationship with somebody and all you do is together, you find this common ground of complaining about things, then you might want to say, thanks, Carol. You might want to say, this is not healthy. This is not healthy. You might want to change our outlook here. Because things are just, the angle is eye-opening for you to start loving yourself. So once you realize that you're being negative in things you do, that's your point. And that is such a brilliant point to say, I'm having issues here. I need to work on this. But don't berate yourself in the process, because we learn every day. Every day is about learning. Like we go to school to do better. But we do it in a healthy way. Don't berate yourself. Don't put yourself down in the process. You look at it as moving forward. Okay? Don't worry about what other people have. Don't worry about the shortcomings, because those things, we all have them. And it's just, it is what it is. Seriously. Okay? However, if you really want something, you're going to work hard to get it. Now, you're loving yourself enough to say, I really want this, and if I work hard, I'm going to acquire that, and I'm going to have that. Well, there you go. You can have it, and you're doing it in a positive way, and it's not negative. Okay? You're using your strengths over your weaknesses, and you're using opportunities. And just keep the positive thoughts. Ask yourself, and I'm going to go over some techniques here in a little bit on things that you can do. So let's start by starting off with forgive yourself and love yourself. That's the first step. Forgive yourself for anything that you failed at in the past. So if things didn't turn out right for you, maybe you were the cause of an end of a relationship, and you know that you were the cause of the end of this relationship, there's nothing you can do about it. We cannot turn back the hands of time. What we can do from this moment on is be mindful of what happened in that relationship. Now let's look at ways that we can not make those same mistakes so it doesn't become a big waste again in our life. And forgive yourself. You have to stop fighting constantly to improve yourself by not feeling hate towards yourself and others. You got to stop doing that. Okay? What you got to do is, you see something you want, love yourself and tell yourself and encourage yourself. Self-talk. Talk to yourself every day. I can do this. I love this. I'm going to do this. I can do this. Okay? Once you start developing this and forgiving yourself and loving yourself, it's a step towards a healthier you, help towards a healthier relationship. What can you do to start this? Well, let's go ahead and think about some exercises, okay? Write all the things about yourself down that you're proud of. Just write all those proud moments down. Everything that you find good about yourself, write it down. Then write down all the things that you're thankful for. So if you're thankful for something, write it down. I mean, and it could be something like, I got a brand new car. I'm so thankful I have that brand new car because now I don't have to worry about the old one, which was breaking down on me all the time, or nickel and diming me. These are little things that it changes our cognitive thinking, which helps us move forward in a healthier way. Okay? Then another separate thing, list all your strengths, things that you really excel at. So this will boost your confidence and you'll feel prouder of yourself. If you hate something about someone, analyze what part of yourself you're really hating. It's a good way to get to know yourself. So why would you hate something about somebody? What is it about them? So let's say, it's a strong word, hate, too. Let's say you say, God, I just really hate that person because da-da-da-da-da-da, they do this and that. Do you really hate the person or do you dislike the actions? Okay? So think about that because you don't really hate the person. You just really don't like the things that they're doing. So you're changing your cognitive thinking there. And that'll help you to start changing the way you internally look at yourself. You don't hate yourself. You just dislike some things or dislike some actions and some things that you did in the past. So this way you're getting to know yourself. Have fun at church. All right, so this way you're getting to know who you are. And it really helps. Sorry, I got a little distracted. Teenager, struggle's real, but she's going to youth church. So we'll keep them in a good place, right? So then there's other things that you want to look at. When people, if you know, we already talked about hating. When people are in the process of acquiring something you want, make sure that motivates you to start working with them. Be happy that you have a new teammate. So if they're acquiring something that you want and you guys are working together, that you could acquire the same thing, there you go. Start working with the person because now you become a team player. And that helps change your cognitive thinking as you're going for what you would like to have in a really good way. Okay? So this way, what you're doing is you're practicing patience, tolerance, forgiveness, and the use emotional accounting to deal with your cognitive distortion. So, and again, we all have distorted way of thinking, and the best way to change it is by accepting, being willing to change the way you think, and that'll help you in the end to where you're becoming in a better way with yourself. And I'm kind of jumping all over the place, and I do apologize for that, because it's a hard topic. I would like to just go ahead and say this is what you need to do. But first we got to get to fundamentals and the little things that happen around us each day that change and make us think the way we do. So, again, we need to love ourselves before we can love anyone else. And this is a main thing. So this may sound wise, but it misses a great truth. If we want to experience true intimacy with someone, we need to be taught to love aspects of ourselves again and again and again by the people around us. So that's a big order, but you have to let people. Let me ask you a question. You ever walk into somebody's house and you see things wrong in their home and you would never point that out to them? Ever. In a million years, you just wouldn't point it out to them. And you're sitting back and you're thinking, God, it's they're falling down on the job with keeping their house clean. You won't say that to them, will you? If you're getting onto a child about them doing something wrong, you're careful on how you do that so that you don't berate them and make them feel bad, correct? Now let's go back to ourselves, our own worst critic. Yet, if we're making errors, if our house is in disarray, our life is in disarray, our relationship fails, what's the first thing we do? We attack ourselves. We berate ourselves. We put ourselves down. This is such a negative behavior because you're learning to love yourself less with every negative word you give to yourself. We have to change that. And we have to learn that it's okay to forgive ourselves for our shortcomings. Okay? As much as we want to control our own destiny, the humbling truth is that sometimes the only way to learn self-love is by being loved precisely in the places where we feel most unsure of and most tender. When that happens, we feel freedom and relief and permission to love in a deeper way. And that's so amazing. No amount of positive self-talk can replicate this experience. It's a gift of intimacy, not of willpower. Okay? So, yeah, if our vulnerability is met with derision or disinterest, something tender shrivels and retracts within us. And we may think twice about ever sharing that part of ourselves again. Have you ever done that? Shared your part in a most intimate detail about yourself with somebody, and you are met negatively with that response? So then you're not being authentic with other people because you're feeling you can't share that part of yourself. You can't be that vulnerable person again. If we love ourselves enough within, those weaknesses within us that we once shared with somebody that we didn't get the result we felt we needed, does not mean we're not going to get a good result from other people. Just because one person changes how we think and feel, we gave that one person so much control over us, and it's changed who we are. So now we have to learn to readjust our own thinking so that we can love ourselves back to where we did before. First step, authenticity. Remember, no matter what, you are beautiful for who you are. Be authentic. Don't change who you are. Don't self-disclose to the point when you first meet somebody, to the point where they know everything about you within the first half an hour. You never want to do that because that's too much information, because people learn about people over time. But don't be afraid to be authentic with someone. If you have a character flaw that you know might scare somebody off, you may want to bring that in and love your character flaw. This is who you are. We've all made mistakes in our lives, and it's made us who we are today. So you have to love that part of you. Okay? Now, moving forward, every time we face the choice to share our deeper self, we stand a chance of rejection. Often it's just scary to take that step forward, and I understand that. So imagine taking a pet you love and putting it in the yard with an invisible electric fence. When it moves outside its allowed space, it gets stunned by an unexpected shock. They're not always really good, right? But it will only take a few jolts before your pet gets the message. If it goes too far, punishment will be instantaneous. In short periods of time, your pet won't act as if the borders even exist. It will simply avoid them. If pushed closer to a deeper danger zone, it will exhibit increasing signs of anxiety. Well, now imagine turning off the charge from the invisible fence and then placing a bowl of food outside that perimeter. Your pet will starve to death before it goes out there. So that's kind of us, if you think about it. We each learn more about our true and false selves by the same things. We've been putting ourselves in this point where there's an invisible fence everywhere around us, certain circumstances in our life, and we won't cross it because to us that's danger. And it's really not. And we'll deprive ourselves of happiness because we just know beyond that invisible fence, we're going to be hurt. Sometimes we have to take a risk. Now, risk is scary, but once you learn to love yourself enough, that risk is nothing because you love yourself enough to take that risk. Okay? Now, we can each learn more about true and false selves by answering a few questions. So, what they are is, what part of your authentic self did you have to hide or camouflage in your childhood? I want you to write these down. So when you were growing up, what part of you did you hide that you didn't let other people see? Write that down. Now, in your current relationships, where are you confined to too small space? What part of yourself are you not expressing? So what are you keeping inside and you're not expressing to your partner? Write that down. Okay? Because what happens is we tend to be ashamed of our most unique, passionate parts of ourselves. These aspects of ourselves threaten our safety. So, and it shames us. And then we get the sense of emptiness and loneliness. And we don't want that. So, you have to let's find these ways. Write those down. That's the first step. Stop shaming yourself. Okay? And I'm going to go ahead and pull up a few things that I want. Also, once you have that done, write those down because I have other things that we're going to be doing here. Okay? I want to discuss 8 steps that you need to take in order to love yourself first. So the first steps were writing down what were you concealing as a child to other people, and now as an adult in your current relationships, or even in your most recent past relationships, what were you concealing, which prevented you from being authentic. Okay, so what was the weaknesses you were hiding that you've not been able to forgive yourself for? Okay. Now, here's 8 steps I want you to focus in on. This is in order to love yourself first. 1, stop caring how you look. Seriously, don't worry about it. Look at me. I'm wearing a striped sweater just because I didn't want to be all opened. So I threw a sweater on real quick over my goddess t-shirt. Who cares? I'm sitting in my living room. I'm comfortable, and I'm with you all, who I adore. And I know we're in a society that's obsessed with beauty. There's no two way about it. There's just not. But if you truly love yourselves, you must allow the way you look Don't allow the way you look to define our personal value. It can be your soul calling card for love, sex, relationship. It can be what dictates our worthiness of joy or family or promotion at work. Think about it. The people who know and love us, mostly, they don't care. They care less about our weight, our skin tone, or our hairstyle. So why do we then continue to suffer the manicured hand of self-imposed criteria beauty? Well, if you're doing it for you, that's one thing. If it makes you feel better at the end of the day, and to you that's a strength, it's fine as long as you're doing it for you. Like, okay, I got a little lipstick on. I do that for me because I like a little color on my face because I'm really white. So it kind of gives me something. And number 2, let it go. Just let go. If we're to redefine the love in ourselves, we must first attempt to reconcile previous experiences of heartache. We can't love somebody else unless we let the past go. So we tend to carry around this tiny fragment of a failed relationship folded up neatly in our breast pockets. We let them weigh us down, allow their judgment to dictate our confidence, their disappointment to taint our optimism. Let it go. It's no longer here anymore. You cannot control what happened yesterday. And you need to forgive yourself. You need to move on. You just need to let it go. It's no longer part of your future. Your present is now. Your past is your past. It's your ego that was bruised, and if you continue to harbor that, it's just going to make you weak and vulnerable. So let it go. Third, win yourself over. Now, what do I mean by that? Your absolute 100% drop dead catch. So don't you dare treat yourself otherwise. You might need to occasionally remind yourself, surprise yourself, woo yourself, bowl yourself over with thoughtful ways. I'm talking about buying yourself a favorite tub of ice cream and hiding it in the back of the freezer, only to like rediscover it on a rainy day. Seriously, when you know that you'll need it the most. So buy it ahead of time, even though you don't want it now. Buy it, because when you do need it, it's there. Or grabbing yourself a bunch of flowers from the farmer's market and realizing that even though they're temporary, you deserve their color and beauty in your day. You're doing it for you. Win yourself over. Take yourself to yoga. Learn to speak a foreign language like French or Spanish, or go to a play, learn an acoustic guitar, write a song. You could do all that. Have fun. Live. Treat yourself. You can't rely on future lovers to treat you to the specifics of life. Your partners are great, but they're fundamentally uncertain in ways that your joy shouldn't be. So they're not to be counted on for something as crucial as personal happiness. They can't be that source. It has to come from you first. I mean, yes, we want to be with somebody who gives us joy and makes us happy. And you can have that with somebody, but if you don't have it within yourself first, nothing there, they can't make you happy. They can't do this for you. It has to be in you already. Okay? So do whatever makes you feel good, even and especially when you don't. Fourth, don't compare yourself. Life is not a race. Love is not a race. Stop competing. Yes, what's her name might be in a long-term relationship and kicking major goals at work while you're still single as hell and stuck in a minimum wage job. Who cares? Life is a funny way of evening out in the end. So just take everything you have in the amount of time you have and just chill, relax. Remember, everyone else is probably looking at your life and wishing they had the same level of independence and freedom. The grass is not always greener on the other side. It's important to enjoy your pasture. You're safe in your knowledge that it'll grow and thrive at its own pace. Yes, you may feel like you can be somewhere else in your life. It'll come. You have to strive and focus and put it out to the universe what you're looking for. But Don't look at other people and think they got better than you, because you don't see what goes on inside their home. Just because it looks good on the outside does not mean it is. Okay? Build strong friendships. Being in a relationship really isn't all what it's cracked up to be. It's not going to define who you are, where you go, or what you achieve. You know what will? The people you choose to surround yourself with day by day. The love and support of beautiful, like-minded friends. Can't undervalue yourself. Your friend, you wouldn't, they're not going to do things to you. They're going to hold you up. So let's be honest. The audience was never invested if you're having people around you just for partnerships that don't know you like your friends do. So surround yourself with great people. You can keep your circle small as long as count them in one hand. If you're lucky, if you can count them on two. But keep your circle so uniquely small that you know that you're there for them, they're there for you, you're like-minded. Everything works so much better that way. And then this way, you always have that person to go to, and they're going to give you what you need, even though sometimes you can't give it to yourself. Okay? And am I frozen, guys? I'm still broadcasting, right? Am I broadcasting or no? It says I am. Are you guys there? Let me back out of this. Let's see. Oh, it's there. It just kind of froze up on me. Okay. All right. So here's some other things besides your friends. So back to that. Build yourself an intelligent, bashful, sharp-witted support cast and feel content knowing that the show will go on regardless. Fantastic. Thank you, guys. Number 6 on my list of how to love yourself, get healthy. What does that mean? This isn't about the way you look. It's about the way you feel. Try swapping the rush of wine, swapping it out. The rush of wine that you would normally have for the rush of endorphins. Rediscover the beauty of a hangover-free Sunday morning. So have some apple juice or something instead. Sit in the sun. Read the newspaper. Form educated opinions on politics. Know what's going on around you. Drink a green smoothie. Take a spin class. Stock up on chia seeds and kale and goju berries and free-range eggs, or let yourself be that annoying, overtly together person. I'm that annoying, overtly together person. I know I drive people crazy, but that's okay. Yes, I have chickens. Yes, I do free range. The one with the inner glow, why? Because you deserve it, really. So get healthy for you. Don't worry about anybody else. Do what's good for you. And then number 7 is travel alone. There's nothing quite as empowering as getting completely lost in a foreign country by yourself. If you can't get out of the country, get in your car. Go for a long ride in the country. Disconnect yourself. Let yourself become totally disconnected from the world as you know it. And realize that time moves on regardless. And that you're okay by yourself. If you get lost, ask strangers for directions. And last on that 8 is know what you deserve. It's corny but true. We only accept the love we think we deserve. And this is a true story, guys. We limit ourselves. Stop limiting yourself. You deserve someone who loves you the next morning when your hair is in knots and your mascara smudged or you got drool coming down your face. You deserve someone who remembers the way you look, the way you take your coffee, and buys it for you when you're caught up in the sweaty grips of a hangover. Hope you don't have a hangover, but if you do, yeah. Or you're just exhausted. Maybe you're up all night working. You deserve someone who takes the time to learn all your insecurities and why exactly you have them. You deserve someone who doesn't judge you for them, someone who loves you regardless, someone who offers up assurance, not through their words, but through their actions, being mindful, being in the moment with you. You deserve someone who thinks of your ass, your butt. Is it a perfect shape? Is it not a perfect shape? And loves the slight dimples in your thighs and strokes that stubborn roll of wintered laziness fat. Because you have flaws. And guess what? So do they. You deserve someone who makes you feel beautiful, someone who makes you feel special. You deserve to be someone's first priority. And in good time, chances are that you'll find that person. But for now, that person has to be you. So what does that mean? You have to love yourself first. Nobody can love you. You have to love yourself. Before you can be good in a relationship with anyone else, you must first have cultivated a good one with yourself. It's essential to have a solid foundation, knowing that the understanding of who you are and what matters most to you. The hard part for most people is getting to know the person when you don't even know who you are yet. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. It's something that takes time, patience, and lots of willingness to unravel the layers through trial and error. And you can do it. So ask yourself daily, who am I? The simple sounding question is actually very hard to answer. It's a question that goes directly to the root of your values, your beliefs, your doubts, your sense of reality, even the external perceptions imposed upon by others, whether it's true or not. Make a list of your traits, talents, skills, thoughts that you feel make up the person that you are right now. Ensure that you have a reasonable amount both of virtue and vice. Everyone has at least 8 good traits and 8 less desirable ones. Don't beat yourself up. It's a whole bunch, and you get to work on the parts that you don't like. What matters is recognition at this point, acknowledging which trait you feel lets you down in some way, and finding good traits that you have probably never even thought about. Take your time answering these questions. You're not in a race. It isn't likely that something you'll answer over a cup of coffee. Start the ball rolling by giving yourself this question as a task for at least the next week. Each day, I want you to ask yourself, who am I? And each day, I want you to write a positive trait and a negative trait down. Add to your list. Okay? And then ask a friend who knows you really well. If you feel uneasy about it, just say, what's the best thing you see about me? And what is the worst thing? And then listen to that, because your friends are never going to steer you wrong. And then look up the meaning of words that you've designed as your weaknesses and strengths. Look it up. Get really a deep understanding of the words. For instance, oh, you're welcome, Claire. For instance, like say you put on thoughtfulness. Go look up thoughtfulness. And if that's one thing that people tell you about it, like everyone tells me that I'm a great listener and that I'm the glue that binds all of us together. Well, so I would find words for those. And then understand it. This is what everyone tells me who I am in their eyes. And remember, it doesn't really matter what other people see. It's how we perceive ourselves, but it doesn't help to understand how other people see us, because they're going to give us our strengths. And then if we do have weaknesses, we can better understand our own. And we got a starting point. And then that way, it's nothing that's bothering us anymore, because we're learning how to fix things within ourselves to love us and not worry about everything. Stop worrying about that we're imperfect. Good gracious, there is not one perfect person out there, but you have to love yourself for your imperfections. Remember that. Okay, so look at your list of weakness. It's important to acknowledge the things about yourself that aren't helping you to feel more fulfilled or successful in life. But don't be too hard on yourself. Remember that this is your list and it's all going to be worked on with clarity and perspective. For example, if you have a bad temper, and you know you do, this is clearly an area that is worth working on to enhance your relationship with others, to stop using frustration and anger as an excuse for not getting the things you really want out of life. Focus in on that. And this is how you do that. Just take these and focus in, but one at a time. Don't try to fix everything at once. You'll drive yourself crazy. I promise you. Don't fix it. Don't try to fix it all at once. It's baby steps. It's like an infant. That baby has to learn how to rock, right? They scoot first, and then they rock, and then they might crawl. Some might get up and run. I mean, you never know. But that's usually the steps. And that's the same with all this. You have to have all these baby steps into becoming you. Okay? Be aware that in many cases, people like us for our weaknesses because that is what makes us seem most human. Think about the high achievers in life who seem like superhuman beings until something trips them up and reminds the rest of us we're mere mortals. They may seem perfect, but they're not. And it's not until they get put in a situation that they realize they're not. And they have to get tripped up. And that's kind of how it works. It's not always what you see it is. Just because you see something a certain way doesn't mean that's what it is. So that's where you got to stop being so hard on yourself. So stop putting yourself down. Stop using negative words. It's easy to put yourself down so much that you won't allow yourself to enjoy life. This will never do. Life is short, and it's insane to put ourselves down and expect ourselves to get up and keep going, because that's brings on depression and other psychological disorders, emotional disorders, mood disorders. Let's not do that to ourselves. Give yourself the opportunity to let your hair down, to have fun and get away from the life of all chores, no play, by scheduling in self-time that won't be interrupted by chores. Other people are thinking. Some of the things you might tell yourself include, I will sit at the park today and read a book. Do it. I will take a bubble bath. Do it. I will eat something I love. Do it. Or I will pamper myself today. Do it. Remember, you deserve it. Now, make peace with yourself. So if you've dropped the ball in the past and you let someone down, try not to think about it so much. Try not to do that in the future, though. Don't beat yourself up over it. Just acknowledge it. Okay, I did this. I'm not going to take this into my future. Use the experience as a life lesson and build on it. Okay? And then keep learning and allowing yourself to change. We grow each day. We never stop learning. And that's what life is. It's learning. Either it's formal education. It's joining in on Healing Hands, and really listening and taking in the way that you could fundamentally change the way you perceive life, the way you perceive people, how you handle relationships, how we look at ourselves. It's all a learning curve. Okay? Life is learning, and we'll never stop learning until we die. I mean, until you take your last breath, you're always going to be learning. So love yourself before you love someone else. Okay? And I'm going to wrap it up on that. I'm going to let you guys ask me any questions, because I can go on about this. I can go on. Well, maybe I do want to go over one or two things, but think of any questions you may have. I'll be happy to answer them. There's a common question. If not this person, then who? And when will I meet someone I really love and loves me? Or how can I love myself? How can we find ourselves beyond a romantic relationship? And does a romantic relationship have a defined or sense of self? Answer is no, guys. Nobody can define you. It's like someone who has bipolar disorder or someone who has depression. That does not define them. It's just something they deal with because it's in their makeup. It's a mood disorder. But it doesn't define them as the person they are. So they need to not let that define who they are and worry about what other people think about it, because that's how we hurt ourselves, and we don't want that at all. And I think I froze again, so hang on a second. I keep freezing, so I know you're asking questions, but I can't see because I keep freezing. So let's see. I guess that's really it, because I don't want to go over this and beat you guys up with a stick. I'm going to close this and say, do your soul a favor and just love yourself right now in the moment. Because as you do more, love will come to you in ways you may never, ever realize or knew. The point is, take the moment, appreciate who you are. Do the little exercise I had mentioned. Write down every day, who am I? A positive and a negative. Who am I? All right, so like for example, here we go. For me, who am I? I'm a mother. That's my positive. What's a negative? I lose patience sometimes with my teenager. Okay, so now I have a positive and I have a negative. What can I do to balance out my annoyance level to where I lose patience with her? So why, in what circumstances? So then I have to look at the circumstances, because you can't treat every circumstance the same. Like especially when if you're talking about children and your annoyance levels, and what is it that's triggering your annoyance? Is it certain circumstances? Mine is she is always on her cell phone. I'll ask her to do something and she's on her cell phone. And I could ask 10 times. I got annoyed a week ago and I took her cell phone away. And I explained to her, until you learn how to balance what you need to do and your fun time on the cell phone, you're not getting it back. So then I introduced it back to her the other night, and I've had no problem getting her to do her chores. So there's always ways to handle a situation, because you're taking it in yourself. Now, again, this is loving yourself, knowing your own weaknesses. Because have you ever just blown up at somebody and then you berate yourself because you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I acted like that? That is beating ourselves up. Have you done something in your childhood that you're not proud of? Or in your early adulthood that you are definitely not proud of? Maybe you got in trouble with, maybe you cheated. You got in trouble with the law. You did this or you did that. Maybe you did drugs. Maybe you were a drinker. Maybe you did both. And then escalated to where you got in trouble with the law. Here we go. It's okay. You'll learn from it. Don't berate yourself up over it. Don't sit there and allow that to be what's going to hold you back in life. Don't let that be a negative connotation that's going to prevent you from succeeding. Because you're taking something that you have no control over, because it's gone, it's past, but it's always going to be part of you. So unless you learn how to accept those errors in your life and move on from it, you're going to be stuck in limbo with that, and then you can't be authentic with people, because you're not loving yourself enough to where you can be authentic. You're not being mindful to yourself. You're not in the moment with yourself. So if you're not, then you're not in the moment with someone else. You're not being considerate of them, and you're not being authentic. So again, each day, you do the little exercises I mentioned. Just start asking yourself, and then start taking those little things in the negative side and saying, how can I fix this? But don't take it serious. I mean, when I say don't take it serious, don't berate yourself over it. Okay, I did this wrong, or maybe this is something I keep doing. How can I change that? And you're actually looking at it in a positive way. How can I change that? My wife says I'm not talking to her in a tone I need to. So then start paying attention. Even record yourself if you need to. And say your spouse is saying, you're kind of rude to me. So just start recording yourself and just do it as a casual thing. And if your spouse says you're being rude to me, go back and listen to it. Really. Because these are things that you're going to learn about you, and this is how we self-improve. And this is how we own our own stuff, and we learn how to love ourselves enough to where we can fix things about us, but don't beat yourself up over it, because it's not worth beating yourself up over. But anyways, we have 4 minutes. I let the whole hour go. I was kind of saying I really wanted to do just half an hour sessions of these and kind of move on from that, because sometimes I think an hour is too much. But I think today it's befitting. I think it's a good thing because it's Valentine's Day, and my Valentine is committed to other areas and not in the state of Texas today. So I'm sitting here and missing her. That's okay. And but some people are not with somebody, and they're not in a relationship, and they're asking themselves why. Or they're struggling in a relationship, and they're asking themselves why. Here we go, guys, and this is helpful. Claire, what's going on? You've been finding it really difficult to find motivation to get out of bed, yet alone get on with the running of my second business. How do I find the motivation to get on approach? Okay, all right, so in your case, Claire, what I would do is, if you're finding yourself, you're laying in bed and you're sitting there thinking, oh my goodness, I don't want to get out of bed. And you're looking at the clock and you're just like, ugh. And you just want to take the covers and throw them over your head and just lay there and just bury yourself in it. Take the step to get out of the bed. If you don't get motivated into working onto the other job or your other business, start making yourself get out of bed. These are baby steps, okay? So make yourself get out of bed. First step, okay? Then, once you're out of bed, keep doing that until you start getting the courage or the motivation. All right, so, and baby steps. Write them down, like I said. There you go. It's a day-by-day thing. Exactly. Now, your ex says that you've changed, but won't tell you how. So you're having problems with communication. All right, so this is what I'm going to suggest you do. Sit down with your ex, which is your friend, I presume, and say, I need a favor because I'm doing some self-improvement. And I can't do this without a little bit of help and some honesty from you. Definitely get a diary and tell your ex, I would appreciate you more than you know if you can tell me in what ways have I changed, because I'm doing some self-improvement and I'm working on me. Well, to work on me, if I don't know what I'm doing wrong in my life to get better, I'm not going to do any self-improvement, so would you please? And it's all in the way you're going to approach her. Always approach your exes or anyone around you in a positive way and let them know that they have the power to help you become a better you. And you'd be surprised how much you will get from that person. But it's all in the way you approach it. But you have to approach it with a real positive way of communication. So communication is your big key. It's not, don't barrel into your ex and say, da 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 da, I need that. No. So just say, I've been really struggling with myself and I'm trying to become a better and healthier me. So to do so, I need your help. Would you be willing to help me? You said one time a while back, or whenever it was, that I've changed. Well, and I understand as a person, we change constantly because we do. And this, so don't take everything that your ex says to heart, because we do change. And you need to remember that we do change. And it's not always a bad thing. It's because we grow. But now if you're changing in a way that may be fundamentally bringing you step back from where you need to be, then you need to look at that. And sometimes we don't see things of ourselves because we're almost in like a tunnel vision. So approach your ex in a positive way and just say, I need your help. Can you tell me how I've changed? Be surprised what you get. Anyone else got any questions? I'll give a couple of extra minutes since we do have the time today. It is Valentine's Day. So guess what, guys? You're all my Valentine. Isn't that great? So, okay, any other questions? Did that answer your questions clear? And I can see we have plenty of other people in here, so come on, don't be afraid. Ask away. If I don't get asked soon, we're going to close it out for the day. So let your fingers do the typing. Yes? Okay, so this is why don't we do this? Oh, I did get something. Okay, Claire. All right, it's because I'm no longer holding my pain in, and she says it's because I'm using more morphine instead of fighting it. She won't say anything else, but thank you for your advice and happy Valentine's. And yes, that really helped. Aw, you're welcome, Claire. And all right, so Pam, this is what I want you to do. You're struggling with your past and you can't move on. If you're real, this sounds like you got a lot going on. I do offer help, which is outside of this particular scene, and you can PM me. I do one-on-ones, and I'm thinking you might need that. And I can get into more of what's going on with you, and then we can work on it, and then I can give you some exercises and so forth. Okay, so in the group in Healing Hands here on the page, there's the send message, the PM. Go ahead and send me a message, and we can work on this together. Claire, back to you real quick. You're taking medication. Now, I want you to understand something. Medication does alter our perception. It also alters how we are handling things. Is there a way that you can do anything holistic? And why are you taking morphine, if you don't mind me asking? And we are friends on Facebook, and I'll be happy to talk with you in PM as well. And you can tell me that if you don't want to put it on in this thread, and I completely understand that. Okay, yes, Pam, please do. Go ahead and hit me up in there, and we can work on that. All right, and I'll be happy to help you. After today's session here, I am going to change, and then I am going to go ahead and go work out because I'm working on becoming a healthier in body way myself. Okay, you have mesothelioma. My mother had mesothelioma. I completely understand. I'm going to ask you to go ahead and start. There's some things I'm going to look up, and then I'm going to get you. Maybe they can get you off the morphine a little. My mother had that, so we didn't do. She didn't do drugs for the pain. We did it all organic, and I really helped her a lot with that. And because I don't believe in pharmaceuticals for my body, and so everything I do is organic. And I found everything works really well. And my mother did too, and it worked really well for her. Okay, yeah. My mom passed away in 2012, so I understand. Okay, so Pam, in Healing Hands, if you're in Healing Hands right now, if you're not, click on the upper part of this box and it'll say Healing Hands is now live. Click on that, it'll take you to the main Healing Hand page, which I'm sure you've already liked. And then go ahead and up where it says send message, just click send message. And then we can just go from there, okay? All right, because I like to keep everything in the group, on the page that has to do with Healing Hands, and not on my author's page or my publisher's page or my private page. Okay. So, all right. Clear. Yeah, there's some stuff out there, and especially there's some like oils that you can start taking that would help. And there's another thing, and it's called Recovery. And it's a powder, and you can mix it in with your water. And what it does is it helps with the inflammation that you're getting, and that you can drink several times a day, and that would help maybe, and it would help lessen the usage of the morphine. Again, I really worked with my mother with this. She passed away of the mesothelioma. It ended up weighing on her heart. So anyways, yeah, I will definitely look into that for you. And guys, I'm going to get off here and I'm going to go work out because my body's begging a workout. And I will talk with you all later. You should be able to clear. We'll see what they have out there because I ordered mine through Canada because the US has not approved it. So yeah, I have to order my stuff. But it's purely organic and it's fantastic. So, all right. And also, if you start walking too, and we'll discuss all that and I'll work with you, Claire, but I'm going to say good night, everybody. Pam, I'll go ahead and I'll watch for your message. If you don't hear something from me today, it's because I'm going to work out here. I need to change and work out. And after I work out, then of course I need to take a bathe and do all my stuff, and then I have a little bit of other stuff that I need to get done tonight. So guys, Pam, I will definitely hit you up tomorrow. Get it to me today, okay? All right, so guys, have a good night.